Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today I want to talk about the Cersei campaign. This is a character that is very strong, and I always talk about whether or not you should go all in on a new character that's in a campaign. You know, the pretty much the best release method, and one of that Scopely has, and actually one of the best things about the game are these campaigns. They usually have a funny storyline, and they are a very free to play friendly way for you to obtain characters. They also, one nice thing about them is that they are very much something that newer players can participate in. So even if you're a new player, in fact, especially if you're a new player, I encourage you to focus on this campaign. And, for example, if you go into the medium or the hard, you will see that all sorts of characters are available there that aren't available here. So the hard has a restriction on it in terms of the characters you use. Easy and medium do not. Now, people ask me all the time, well, what's the best way to maximize the number of shards you're going to get for a new character? I want to make crystal clear that the way you do that is by you getting these refreshes of energy, event energy. And, I did the 50s and 100s. Even if you're free to play, if you are at all able to, I would encourage you to do the 50s. They are a very good investment because you're going to get, not only quite a bit of cores of orbs and shards. If you do the 50s, you should be able to get her to 4 stars. Almost certainly, or very likely, I would say you'll get her to 4 stars. If you do the 100s, you have a shot at getting her to 5 stars. It's not a guarantee, but you have a shot of doing that. So what you do is you do not refresh the nodes. You refresh the energy, and then you work your way down. Once you complete this, you work your way down the hearts. You see how I've done that here. And then when you get to the end, you go to the mediums, and you start from the back to the front. You see, and there you go. And then I have some that are available. Now, I usually do these earlier. And I am doing this now for a couple of reasons. So first of all, they released this with basically no notice at all. And this was coming right after the Omega Red release. Very bad timing on Scopely's part and a very bad look. And it really left it to free-to-play players who had just finished the prior campaign were struggling to get their cores in order to do this, because this is something that a lot of players save up for every month. So I first of all, shame on Scopely for doing that. I understand why they may have done it, and that it's due to circumstances and schedules and so forth, but they could have tried to make an accommodation to players, and I wish they did. The other thing is I've been hearing from new players how strong Sersi is. So in the beginner arena, Sersi, even without Ikaris, is very strong. If you are using, a lot of new players use characters like, Gamora, Nebula, with some mixture of whether it's New Warriors or Secret Avengers. There's some players that are using, the Dad Bros, Longshot and Shatterstar. And what I am hearing from new players is that Cersei, even on her own, is really strong in Arena, which makes sense because she gets these Arena bonuses, okay, and so forth. But it's interesting to me. One newer player was telling me that she immediately outperformed Captain Sam for him, even though Captain Sam was higher stars and red stars. So that says something, that a lower geared, lower starred Cersei was outperforming that character. So this, I think, even for new players, is a good investment. And obviously, whenever you have an arena team, it's a good investment. The other thing that was delaying me a little bit is I was hoping that there would be some announcement regarding how Ikaris is going to be released. They're very much a pair. Her kit is very tied with Ikaris. You could see it throughout her. There's a lot of call-outs to Eternals and Ikaris right now. Ikaris is the only Eternal in the game, and you can see these call-outs to Ikaris here. But we don't even know how he's going to be released. And it is what it is. There's nothing that we could do about it, but I think that she's strong enough to make this worth doing in any event. Now, let's just talk a little bit about what characters to use in hard mode, okay? So in hard mode, it seems to me the best characters to use are going to be, if you had every character unlocked, it would be, and I believe what I used was something like Dagger, Omega Red, Deathpool, Shang-Chi, and Sharon Carter. You obviously have some other choices here. I think some, budget options for people Wolverine is definitely a good free-to-play option that everyone's going to have because you get him for free from logging into the game. Symbiote Spider-Man, if you are lucky enough to have him, I think is fine. These aren't particularly difficult. I do think they're hard for players who are in the level 65 to level 75 range. In particular, if you don't have a lot of gear tier 14 and 15 characters. And certainly, Nebula, Zemo, Red Guardian can be fine as well. Hela. I do think there's quite a few good choices. Now, one thing I have been, some players have told me they did not like the orbs. Now, in the past, sometimes these orbs were just full of other characters that were very valuable. And I think Scopely's been pretty chintzy on these orbs. But one thing to keep in mind is particularly for players who are not as advanced, Ghost is a War Store character. Hela can be late game, challenging to obtain. She certainly need to unlock some legendaries. She has some value. Red Guardian is a valuable character. Sharon Carter obviously needed to unlock Omega Red. She's a Raid Store character, but still not a lot. There's a lot of players who don't have her at 7 stars. Baron Zemo is often difficult for players to get up early, newer players. So I think, while this is not, I would say, an ideal orb, Negasonic, of course, is, by the way, a later game farm and needed for a legendary. So even though this isn't an ideal orb, I think there are certainly characters in here that are of value to players who are not super advanced endgame. If you're in a super advanced endgame player, have been playing a long time, the issue is purely how many cores you can devote to this. And people ask me, well, how do you balance this versus energy, regular energy and ISO energy? Between this and regular energy, it really depends on your goals and how many cores you have. If you're trying to get into DD5, you may want to farm teal gear with the new energy. I get that. Or if you're short on gold or training mats, regular energy is going to give you that. But I really do think this is a good deal because Cersei looks to be a very powerful character. And in fact, her stats really are through the roof. And so, not only is her kit very strong, but if you actually go to, for example, MSF.gg and look at her statistics, okay, that is also, very strong. You can see she's 4th in the game in health, for example. If I click on that, she's 4th in the game in health. Very, very, very high there, right behind Dr. Doom, tied with Adam Warlock. You can see here, her damage is not as high as, let's say, Ikaris, but she's still, decent at 39. And her focus is 4th in the game. Her resistance is 14th. So she's just a very, very powerful character. And by the way, her and Cersei is 125 speed, Ikaris 126. These are 2 of the top 15 fastest characters in the game. So definitely character that I think is worth investing in. It's BS that Scopely gave us a little time to save up our cores, but it is what it is. Do what you can to try to get those shards of Cersei, even if you're a newer player or free to play. All right. If you like this video, smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel. If you have comments, questions, you can put them below or go to my Discord. That's linked below. Or also you can go to my Twitch stream. That's linked below as well.